Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show today. So, Christine, I hear a little bit of echo there. If you don't mind while you're not talking, if you could mute your microphone, that would be awesome. Okay, so everybody, hopefully you can hear me. You can see the screen here, okay? We've had a few technical issues in the past, to say the least, with trying to get this webinar to go live, and I think we finally got it done this time. So if you don't mind, in the questions section of the webinar, if you're here, just give me a quick shout out if you can see the PowerPoint that I have pulled up here with the title of the webinar, and if you can hear me okay. Hello, yes, we can see, yes, everybody, this is fantastic. So first, all of those people that are watching this live and have been here before, my apologies. It is really weird. I've done about 100, well, not 100, I've done hundreds of webinars over the last 5 years, taught all kinds of cool stuff, but unfortunately, I've never had a technical issue like I've had the last month. We tried to host this webinar last month, and because we had a guest joining us on the webinar, it threw our webinar into a fritz. We redid the webinar, it threw that one into a fritz. So we've used a different webinar service provider this time, and we are all good. We've tested it. Christine's on here with me. You can see, you can hear. So it's going to be a powerful event. So we're probably going to go about 60, 70 minutes here. We're probably going to go about 90 minutes with your questions. And let me kind of tell you about what brought us to here, and then we'll jump in and talk a little bit more. I do a lot of training on how to build business credit, how to build credit for your EIN that's not linked to your personal social security number. I do training on live streams and webinars and everywhere, but I've never done anything like what we're going to do today, because today I'm not going to just teach you how to build business credit. I have a very special guest on with me, Christine, who her and I have actually become friends over the last few months. Christine and I first connected on Periscope when I did some live training, and she said, here's the results I'm getting. I said, that's crazy awesome results. So we got together off our live streams. Actually, I think she was the first person that let me pull her business credit report in real time. Christine, is that right? I think I pulled your business credit first in real time. Yeah, okay. So Christine was the first person that let me pull her business credit report. It looked awesome. We started talking after the fact. I looked at more of her business credit report to validate the results she was getting. And then last month I thought, man, this would be a great idea. Let's have a live case study on a live show where everybody can actually not only see the process to build business credit, but hear and physically see the results that somebody's actually obtained, and talk to them. And then together, Christine and I are going to literally map out the exact process of how we got here. Now, what's interesting is I changed the title of the webinar. You can see here how Christine got over 118,000 in business credit approvals is what it was last month. But Christine, you just got a $40,000 approval. Was that right? Just a matter of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was. When we applied for it, it was a question as to how much we were going to get. Although it doesn't report to the credit report as of yet, it's one of those ones. It's going to be a UTC filing, but we can spend up to $40,000 on any kind of equipment that we need. So it was really a very large blessing. It's something that we can hold on to when we are able to fully expand and go from there.
Well, great, great. Now, somebody said in the chat here that there's no sound, and hopefully that's not the case. Can see and hear you. Everybody else says they can see and hear, so you might want to test and just something with your microphone or something to that effect. Everybody else is saying it sounds okay. So I just changed it. Here we are. It was 118,000 when we originally scheduled this webinar. Christine just got a $40,000 business credit approval. We're going to show you a lot of this credit on our physical business credit reports, but most importantly, we're going to map out the exact process that Christine took to get here. Because Christine, it wasn't an easy process. You tried some other companies, tried some systems, and had a lot of failures before you started to get success. Is that right?
Yes. We've been trying to build business credit for over 2 years now. And once we found your program, we just took off. So awesome. The other companies would put the smaller starter trades, take the money, and do minimal, or do things that were not ethical. And I'm like, I can't deal with companies like this. I am in business. I need to survive. I need to get funding for my company. So when I found your program, we were like, okay, how legit is he? So I started doing it, and it just took off. It really just took off.
That's fantastic, and that's one of the reasons, everybody, I wanted to bring Christine on, because a lot of people reach out to me and say, Ty, I've tried this, it doesn't work. This is a scam, I've tried it, it doesn't work for me. And it's because they worked with not so straight or legitimate companies, or they tried to do it on their own and they ran into blockades and they failed. And I don't want you to have those failures. What I want to do is take the years that Christine spent trying and get rid of all that and just give you the exact formula of success so you can come in and skip the years of trying to figure it out, jump to the part where you know exactly what to do and actually start executing. That is our goal, and that is exactly what you're going to learn during the webinar today. So today we're going to be diving in and talking about how Christine got over 148,000 of business credit approvals. I say quickly, but she actually has obtained this over the last 90 days. This is not the only credit she has. Very important to mention. Of the 148,000, I'm not even including any of the initial vendor credit that she actually obtained to start her business credit profile and score. I'm only talking about verifiable accounts we've seen populate in the last 90 days that she's got approved for and started to populate on her business credit reports. And we're also going to map out the exact steps for you to be able to do the same. So before we go too far in, a lot of you might not know who I am, so I'll do a brief introduction of myself. My name is Ty Crandall. I'm now in my 17th year in the financing sector. I was in the Air Force, which actually Christine is about to go down the path that I came from in the Air Force. And I got out of the Air Force, got into financing, and I've spent my life in financing ever since. Owned a mortgage company, built and sold a consumer credit company, and I've been in the business credit space for about 6, going on 7 years now, helping people build corporate credit. In that time, I speak about credit worldwide. I've been invited to Singapore, and I speak on stages all over the country, especially on a regular basis about business credit building and financing. And just so you know, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I don't have any kind of ego. For anybody that really knows me, knows I'm a very humble person. I'm only going through this slide because I want you to know that I'm qualified to even talk about the topic. And then we're actually going to jump into a slide giving you a little bit of background as Christine as well. I just think it makes sense to know who you're talking to. So I'm the author of two popular books. I would like to say the best-selling books on Amazon, but I don't have any statistics to support that. One is called Perfect Credit, which is a book that teaches you how to build consumer and business credit, and Business Credit Decoded, which I believe to be the most popular book on business credit, and you can get both those on Amazon, but don't buy them. I'm going to give you a lot of that information for free right here on this webinar. I'm also a business credit authority with news stations, radio shows, TV shows. I've been featured in Entrepreneur. I've been featured in Inc. magazine, Forbes. All these type of places are the type of places that contact me. I was just contacted last week by American Express, giving them some information to write their blog post and content. So you've probably seen me in one of these sources that's all over the place. So I oversee the largest business credit operation, coaching operation in the United States. So what we've done is actually created a program where people can offer business credit and financing as a product and service. And today it is, without a doubt, indisputable, the biggest operation in the United States for private white label business credit and financing, for people to offer that. So I tell you this because not only am I here talking to you about business credit and financing, but I'm also the one that oversees a very large operation that teaches 1,000+ people everything they need to know to be successful to offer business credit and financing. So a lot of knowledge comes with that as well. So let me tell you a little bit about Christine. Christine is the owner and operator of Farrell Transportation. Is that safe to say, Christine? Because I know Brian your husband is involved in this obviously as well. He would like to think he runs the whole thing.
Well, actually, he's the owner, he's the operator, he's the genius who thought it up. But I'm the one behind the scenes getting all this credit and everything while he's out on the road taking care of business. So it's kind of a give and take, and it's been a learning curve for both of us. He's kind of way behind me going, hey, I'd like to catch up. Can you show me? And I'm just overshot him. So it's been a learning curve. It has been a learning curve. But it's been something that's opened my eyes to this is real. This is not fraudulent. And every step that I have been through, if I had found someone like you from the get-go, I would have been so much further. But everything happens for a reason.
Well, and I appreciate that, and you know that's exactly why I'm here. Because for those of you that don't know my story, and I might be jumping into the story through slides as well, but that happened to me. I owned a mortgage company in the height of the mortgage industry, personally guaranteed everything for the business. The industry crashed. I tried to hold on to the business, couldn't hold on, and unfortunately, because I personally guaranteed everything for my business, they wiped out everything on my personal accounts, pushed me almost to the brink of personal bankruptcy. And years later, I would discover business credit and get very frustrated that nobody was talking about this. And that changed my life forever. I decided to be the advocate that taught everybody how to do what you're going to learn today, so you never have to experience the heartache that I did and my family did by personally guaranteeing things for your business. There is another path. So that's why I'm here. And Christine, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story here as well. Now, Farrell Transportation, on their credit report, established 8 of 2015. Here's a little bit more about them. So Christine, tell us a little bit more about what your business does.
Well, for a while we were hauling equine horses and things like that, but we got out of it. There was just too much competition, and we're sticking to what we know. We usually do dry vans or over-the-road trucking, and we have done some hazmat, but we usually just lease the vehicle to a company and have them dispatch the load, and we pay the drivers from there. We're not a very large company. We're less than 10 people, but we do what we can, and we're looking to actually purchase companies down south in Texas and expand and just trying to be able to further our business and go be able to be more self-sufficient and be able for my husband to come home instead of being one of the drivers that we have to pay, have him help me, and him be able to say, hey, you take this load here, you take this load here, and just have the lifestyle that we've always wanted.
And you know, guys, this is a very interesting story and a very interesting path that a lot of you that are just starting in business will soon experience. Nothing in business ever works out like we think that it will. So you can see here that Christine's describing a business model they had, they went into, they believed in, they tested. It did not work out well for them. So they were able to shift their business into a couple other different directions and be successful. But the problem is that when you don't have the capital to relearn these lessons and make adjustments, this is why so many businesses fail in this country. When we look at the two biggest reasons for business failure, one is mismanagement. It's managers and entrepreneurs that we don't exactly know what we're doing. We're kind of going through this trial and error to figure things out as we go. And the second reason is lack of access to capital, meaning that when we don't have the money to support us, we can't afford to make a lot of mistakes. And when we do make mistakes, then it puts us out of business. So today I'm going to teach you how to get capital that's not linked to your social, regardless of personal credit, regardless of cash flow, regardless of collateral, so you, like Christine, can have that capital to back you to be able to see things aren't working, make adjustments, have failures, then turn around and have successes. You can do all of this as long as you have the capital to back you to be able to make it happen, and that's really our goal for today. And you know, Gregory, I think is one of the people on here that's saying, yes, you know, it's completely legitimate, it works excellent. So there's a lot of people on here that have also had success beyond Christine, as there are with our live streams as well. So, you know, as you heard Christine say, she struggled for about 2 years, worked with a lot of different or a few different business credit companies, and had some bad experiences. So, Christine, give us a little bit more specifics about some of the problems you had trying to do this on your own, working with some other companies, and kind of what ensued out of that.
Well, it all started back in 2011 because when we incorporated the company, we went to LegalZoom. When we got all the paperwork, they didn't tell us we had something called a Dun Bradstreet number. We had no idea this thing existed. So fast forward to about 2014, 2015, we had heard somebody in passing mention something about it, so we researched it. We go to apply for it, and we get declined because we already have one. This was a big news flash to us. We're like, what is this, and how do we find it? So we're calling LegalZoom. We called DNB, and they finally were able to give us all the information we were looking for because this was not provided to us. This was not told to us. This was not even remotely mentioned. It was like we were not supposed to know about this. It was a dirty little secret, and we weren't supposed to know. But with all that, we found a company that said, okay, in 90 days, once you get this 80 paydex score, no matter what, once you get that magic 80 number, you can get whatever you want. They didn't tell us that you have to have not only starter trades, you have to have fleet cards, you have to have all these lines built up for that 80 to be able to get to where they were saying. They gave us, I think, 3 starter trade lines. We're trying to repair the personal credit as well, and let's just say it didn't go very well. They blew the personal credit completely out of the water. For 8 months, we only had 3 trades, and 2 of them weren't reporting. And I finally got fed up. I'm like, if I have to do this stuff myself, if I have to contact these creditors myself to get them to report, what am I paying you for? So I found another company that there was no money up front, but herein we had a problem. They were saying, well, we'll give you money, but we want you to get all these fleet cards, hand them over to us, we'll pull the money off of them and keep your cards.
That seems legit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we didn't find out until we were further along in the process about that portion of it. So it was kind of like, whoa, I don't think so. So that was bad experience number 2. This final one we had right before I found you guys' stuff was herein they would put us in a queue for things to be done. That could be 2 or 3 weeks down the road before we even get anything. And here again, I was like, you know what? If I've got to do this again, I'm not spending my hard-earned money to pay you this. So I pretty much told them to go pound salt. I was done. And when I found your stuff, I was like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? I have the trade lines I need to get to these fleets, and I'm going to start applying. Now, a word of advice, do not apply like I did. In 2 weeks' time, I garnered the kind of money I did. Not a good idea. There is a reason you space these out. I could have literally red flagged my company without intentionally meaning to do so. I was back-to-back Citibank. I was like, okay, if the Citibank is going to get approved, here's this, here's this, here's this. And I just did it, just started hammering them out left and right. So I was like, okay, here we go. And that's when I started following your program. I was like, I've got this. I went through your checklist. I was like, I've got the website. I've got the phone numbers. I've got the email address. I've got everything I need. Here we go. So when I submitted, I was on the phone with them, and they're like, well, I had applied for a Sunoco gas card for $5,000. They're like, you're approved. I'm like, okay, what's the credit limit? She's like, $15,000. I was like, okay, we can do this. I didn't expect that much, but I was like, okay, we can do this. We can definitely do this. So I started applying, and I, excuse me, I would talk to them, and for 90% of my fuel cards, my fleet cards, I called in and applied, and I spoke to them. And there's a big difference if you fax in or if you call in and talk to them. If you talk to them, they're more willing to extend the credit or increase your credit. Because I was one, actually my Costco card, I called in and asked for a $30,000 limit. They're like, well, we can't do 30, but we can definitely do 20. It's like, I'll take it. So
it's all right. So Christine, and we're going to dive in a lot more to Christine's story as we go, but she's outlined a lot of different points here. First of all, getting a DUNS number with Dun Bradstreet is one of the first steps in building business credit, and it's absolutely free to do. And I'm going to dive in and talk to you about how to get your free DUNS number. Secondly, if you don't know if you have a DUNS number with Dun Bradstreet, go to Google and Google Dun Bradstreet iUpdate. You could do a quick search with iUpdate to even see if your business is listed there at no cost. So it helps you get through that barrier. Christine also mentioned something that I like to call unsecured business financing. These are people that advertise hundreds of thousands of dollars in 0% financing. What they may not tell you is that, firstly, it's a really legitimate program and a great program if you have excellent personal credit. So when you see this hundreds of thousands of dollars offered at 0%, that program requires good personal credit to get in. A lot of companies won't tell you that. They'll charge you thousands of dollars to get in, and then what they do is go through a credit repair process to fix your credit to make it good, which could take years to do to get you to qualify for those programs. Along the way, they may do some business credit building, but in my experience, and I've been in some of these actual companies' offices and seen their operations, they even outsource some of that stuff to other countries, and they don't mess with it at all. All they do is get the unsecured cards that you have to have good credit to get. If you have good credit, great. Reach out to us, info@creditsuite.com. We can help you get that up to 150 grand at 0%. But what we're going to talk about today is a program that doesn't require good personal credit, doesn't require credit repair to get approved. It gets you access to the 20,000 Costco and the 15,000 Sunoco and a lot more of those type of credit. We're going to break down Christine's actual approvals here in a minute, and you'll get a feel for what's actually possible. So she struggled to be able to get the financing to start and grow with a 2-year process, 3 different companies that said, well, we'll do it for you, or we'll get you $250,000 at 0%, or all these other things just to go through and find the pitfalls. And again, that's exactly why we're here, because we don't want you to have that happen. So she couldn't really qualify for the loans and the credit, which is why she was building the business credit and financing, and then started to build business credit with a few other companies, spent considerable time struggling to get credit, 2 years plus, and then only ended up with the basic starter accounts, which I'm going to teach you how to get within days of leaving this webinar today. So literally you could take that couple years and all that money that Christine spent to learn what I'm going to show you today for you to be able to come in and start getting approvals right away, then start jumping to these kind of approvals that Christine has. Now, as she mentioned, she actually saw our information online, and this was, I think, about now going on a few months ago, about 3 months ago, and then really started to follow a lot of the methodologies, and she kind of told you part of the story since. Went out, and the first thing she did was get a $15,000 Sunoco, move forward and started to get $20,000 Costco, and we'll go through a lot of the approvals. Keep in mind, she's a transportation company. They deal with driving, they deal with these type of things. So to get $15,000 and $20,000 gas credit cards, Christine, I mean, how big of a deal was that for you?
That was insanely crazy. I mean, I was expecting 2,500, 5,000 maybe, because I always thought, our BP card was only $8,000. So I'm like, okay, I don't think we're going to do much more than that. But I've had people message me say, how is it you're being so greedy with these the amounts you're given? And I've messaged them back politely. I'm like, you have to take into consideration the kind of work we do. The kind of money we spend on a daily, weekly, monthly basis is going to be completely different than a t-shirt factory, a nonprofit organization. Everybody's is different. And I'm not saying I'm being greedy with these approvals, but also, too, that the creditors are going to look at what you do, what kind of income you garner, if they ask for this stuff. And then they're looking at, okay, if they're in transportation, they're going to spend a lot of money monthly on these cards. But that's kind of a different story, but people have to look at that too. It's what I'm getting is not going to be what somebody else is going to get, or the other company that I own will not be getting these kind of amounts. Right. So it's kind of a two-sided thing.
Well, and that's one of the things we talked about is that, one of the benefits of business credit is that the approvals are 10 to 100 times higher than consumer credit. You can get $20,000, $30,000 limit accounts within 60, 90 days, maybe a little longer, because, and it seems crazy to you, to individuals, but as a business, we need access to that much money. That's nothing. We can split 40, 50,000 on credit cards in a matter of weeks and then pay them off. And that's basically what Christine is describing too. So one of the things that she'd said to me through an email is we've really just been through the mill on this. I've been learning every way not to build business credit. When I came across your videos 2 months ago, I really did just take off with the funding after that. So in the past 2 months, we've seen major improvements, and we're really looking to grow from here. We've been through 3 other companies with little no results except for an empty bank account. And this is exactly from one of the emails that Christine had actually sent me on this topic. So again, this is very, very, very typical where, once you know the formula, you can do what Christine did. In 2 years, she only got starter accounts. In 2 months, she was able to start getting multitude of $10,000, $15,000 accounts once the formula was unlocked, which again is the major purpose of today. Now, somebody had asked for the link to iUpdate. I put it in the chat. Somebody else asked, will there be a webinar, a playback? Yes, I will email you because you're an attendee to this webinar. I will email you a playback to this webinar. I might even have our team reach out just to see if you had any questions that were unanswered, but we will definitely send you a playback to the webinar. So after working, she just got approved for over 118,000. It's now 148 in credit ever since learning the system because she just got a $40,000 approval. None of this credit was obtained using her personal social, credit check, or with a personal guarantee. One of the coolest things, Christine, you've ever said to me was on Periscope when I said, did you provide a social security number to get any of this credit? And you said to me, they never asked. So is that right? They never even asked for your social because your initial business credit was established.
No, they never asked. And that's one thing that unfortunately, because of the time frame that I've been doing this, it was already established. Now, that doesn't mean they won't ask, but if they ask, just politely tell them, can we try this without the social? Let's see if the business will float it. Some of the creditors will get snotty with you. I've run into a few over at Sam's Club who are adamant that I have to put my social on there or they won't run it. If that's what you run into, ask for a supervisor. Ask for somebody who deals with this on a daily basis and say, I mean no disrespect, but I would like to speak to somebody who actually deals with business credit with your store. And you will see results. It may not be the answer you're looking for, but you will see results. It will go further.
And Christine makes a great point, guys, because they're not trying to be rude to you. It's just the front-end people don't even know this is possible in a lot of places. We had a client have to go through 5 supervisors up the chain in Nordstrom to even for the person to go, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Here's the path forward. It wasn't that the other 4 before were rude or mean. They just didn't know. They didn't even know this existed. So you're learning things that a lot of the front-end people at most major retailers don't even know about. So if you run into that resistance, Christine had a vital point that's my way of dealing with every one of these similar situations. I personally hang up and call back. I just ask for somebody, I just hang up and hope to get somebody else. And if I do get the same person, then I move up to a supervisor. If I'm ever told no on anything, I always call a company 3 times and ask 3 different people the same question, because when you do that, you oftentimes will find somebody with the knowledge they need to actually help you, which is exactly what Christine ended up doing. So let's talk about your approvals so far. Now, Christine, we mapped this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to add a quick point to this. And here's another thing, too. Some of these store cards will have a general store card, like Costco, and then you'll have Walmart, which has both. And Costco has both, the MasterCard and Visa, When you apply, keep in mind, if you want to do just store credit with them, there's going to be 2 separate applications. So keep that in mind when you apply, because if you go for the one that has both on it, 9 times out of 10, you will have to personally guarantee that card. But if it's just the store card that you want for business, you will not have to personally guarantee. I just wanted to throw that out there because some people will get confused about that. So just put it on ahead.
And Christine brings up a great point. What she's saying is, hey, look, Sam's Club offers you a credit card that you could use in Sam's Club. They also offer a commercial card you can use outside of Sam's Club. Sometimes the commercial cards do require the personal guarantee, but even with personal credit issues, when your business credit's established, you can still get that kind of credit. Whereas most of the accounts you can use in the physical stores don't need the personal guarantee, and a lot of the credit I'm going to list here doesn't. Some of it, it's cash credit, might require a personal guarantee. But at that point, who cares? You're still able to get it even with damaged personal credit. And as you build more and more and more business credit, then that type of credit becomes available without the personal guarantee. So let's talk about some of the approvals that Christine's had. 5,000 at Tractor Supply, 8,000 at BP, 1,500 weekly at Fuel Man Fleet, 15 grand at Shell, 12,500 at Apple, 5 grand at Exxon. Now let me start here. You're obviously noticing a trend of a lot of gas companies, BP, Shell, Exxon. Guys, that's because that's what she's choosing to apply for. She's a transportation company, so she's obviously interested in the type of credit that can help her and getting as much as possible. So it's the same with you. You can apply for any type of credit you want, and people ask me, how much can you get? There's no limit of business credit you can get, the same as there's no limit of how much credit you can get in the consumer world. The only limitation is how much you actually apply for. So the kind of credit and how much you get really depends on how much you're actually applying for. 15 grand at Office Depot, 20 grand at Costco, 15 grand at Sunoco, 15 grand at Sears, Sprint, 150 bucks per line times 12 lines. And I had Best Buy a question mark. Was Best Buy the one that you ended up getting the 40,000 at?
Yes, Best Buy was the 40,000, as I like to call it, the big mama.
Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to make a quick change on this here, because we now know that Best Buy was $40,000 at Best Buy, and that brings your total up to 158. So I just went ahead and changed that. So if we add this up, guys, that's obviously looks a little weird, so let me see if I can fix that. It's over $158,000 in credit that she's obtained so far. Now again, remember, with all this credit that you see, this is not the only credit she obtained. She obtained starter vendor accounts to get her initial credit profile and score started. I'm going to show you how to do that today. But this is the credit she obtained once she unlocked the system. Once she figured out the path forward and started to go in and hit and get approvals, this is the type of credit that she's had, and it's continued to increase. She told you that she came in and got 15 grand, okay, right here at Sunoco. Then she was up to 20 at Costco. Christine, your most recent approval, the last one that you went for, was the one you got 40 for, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so you see the credit increasing. She got 15, then she got 20. Now she's up to $40,000 limits. This increases and grows very, very fast, which is one of the benefits of business credit. Now, her and I've talked about 2 months, but that's because we planned on doing the webinar last month. It's now January. So this is actually 3 months into the process. She's going on her 3rd month. This is the credit she's got during that time period, not all the credit she's obtained. This is just the recent credit that she's obtained to show you what's possible. So here's how business credit works. You start with starter vendor accounts, which I'm going to tell you in a few minutes how to get. Then you move to store credit. Then you start to get fleet credit, and what Christine mentioned, the commercial cards, which are cards you can use in a multitude of places. That's how this actually looks. I want you to see it on a slide. We're going to look at it on real business credit reports as well, and then I'm going to map out the process. Now, somebody is asking, all these using only EIN. So Christine, the question is, are all of these accounts I list here you got using only your EIN? Did you provide your social security number with any of the accounts that I've listed here?
Absolutely no. No social security number was supplied. They might ask for your DMB number, but it's strictly off of the EIN. Very rarely will you get a company ask for DMB, but no social was supplied whatsoever.
And guys, just so you know, sometimes they won't even ask for your EIN, and this confuses people, especially in the beginning. And it's because you can pull somebody's business credit report with only their business name and address. So in the beginning, Uline and Quill, these guys won't even ask you for an EIN number. Some of them, like Gimplers, will ask for your DUNS number. So they're all a little different. Some won't ask for DUNS, some will. Some won't even ask for EIN, some will. When you start to get to this level, they almost all ask for your EIN. But as Christine said, most of them never even asked for her social. Some of them did ask because they didn't know any better. She moved up to a supervisor and got around that without providing her social. So let's look at some of Christine's actual business credit reports. Now, what I did today is I just went in and dove in and pulled her Equifax report just now. This is a new Equifax report that we pull. Now, you can look at some of these things, like you can see that her payment index here is 100, as high as you can go, one of her main scores. And you know how she gets a score? I'm going to give you a little tip right now. Christine, how do you get a high score when it comes to business credit? What's one thing and only one thing you have to do?
Pay it on time or ahead of time.
That's it, guys. That's it. This is the beauty of business credit. Business credit scores are based, especially with Equifax and D&B, 100% on payment history. You get credit, you pay it early or on time, as Christine said, it instantly gives you a good score. How good? Hers is perfect. If this was her consumer credit score, it'd be an 850. It's as good as you can get. She's got a 100 payment index score. Now, there's other scores that deal with this might have to do with time in business because she hasn't been in there long. Okay, this is, I love. Why is this score low? Length of time since oldest financial account opened. That's kind of hilarious if you think about it. She's got 158,000 in the last 90 days, so that scared them to a point to lower this score, saying she's got so much credit and she hasn't had it open for a long period of time. Another cool risk factor, company size. I like factors like this because it goes to show that even a small company can obtain this kind of credit. Okay, even a company that's just getting started in business or just starting their business credit can get this kind of credit. So again, you know, these type of things indicate that even a newer business can accomplish this. So as we're looking at this, now, as she mentioned, the $40,000 Best Buy hasn't even reported yet. A lot of these accounts that she just got in the last 30 days haven't even reported yet. Some of them only report to D&B. Some of them only report to Equifax. Some others only report to Experian. So we won't expect to see the total amount of credit she has on a business credit report ever, because it all reports to different reporting agencies. And I'll show you that actually right now. Let me show you an example of that. So even though we're looking at right now her Equifax, here is a running total of what she's got on her D&B report. So you can see that one of those accounts isn't even on Equifax, it's on D&B. So she's got 15,000 right there. So some of the credit hasn't reported yet. Remember, of the 158, 40,000 she just got. But we just saw she has about 80,000 on Equifax, and she's got another 15 here on D&B. These two alone account for about 95, nearly 100,000 of the credit. So we can see it's verifiable. This is her D&B credit report here, over 15 grand. Here's her actual Equifax. Total amount of credit she has is nearly 80,000 on her Equifax report. Guys, this is why Christine is here, because I don't just listen to what people say and put them on webinars or on live streams with me. They have to prove what they say is accurate, or we won't even expose them to you. You can see here the business credit reports show the legitimacy of what Christine is saying. You can see here that she's got 80,000 on Equifax alone. You can also see just by her company risk factors that she's obtained it in a short period of time, and you can see that even as a small company, she was able to obtain this financing. So it's also important to note, guys, that I'm sorry, Christine, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Also, I was going to say on the Equifax, there's two columns you'll notice, and I just want to point these out, that is not reporting our non-financials, the stuff that is not revolving trades, stuff that we've already paid off that is reporting there. So it shows I have 9 trades, but 3 of those are not included in that 70,000. So that when people pull these kind of reports, they'll see these as 2 differentials. Keep in mind that not everything is going to be tallied into that total, because like I told you earlier, I pulled that tri-merge report. There are 22 trades of what they can see, and it's over 90,000 on these that are starting to report, and that includes every single trade we have.
So it's very
important.
There's ways
to verify.
I'm sorry, Christine, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that there are ways to verify everything. So, you know, the proof is in the pudding, or the credit report, as we say.
And guys, this is why I pull credit reports, because I can sit here and make a fancy slide that says 158,300 in big roll red, right? But when you look at an actual credit report and you see, and this is what Christine's saying, she's got nearly 79,000 here. She could tell here that she's got about 80 grand, but these three aren't even reported in the total. They're telling you right now that these 9 are active, these 3 aren't even in the total, and they're not even showing any balances because they're not open. So of this nearly 80,000 we see on Equifax, we're still missing 3 of our higher limit accounts, and Equifax is telling us that those accounts aren't even reporting, not to mention the 15 plus we saw on DMB, not to mention that we haven't even looked at Experian. So this is another important thing to note. You notice how much more credit reports on Equifax than does on Experian? Keep this in mind, guys, because there's programs out there like DMB's Credit Builder that you could build credit on your DMB credit report and spend thousands to do it. But why are you going to do that when a lot of sources are using Equifax to determine approval? They wouldn't even see your Equifax report. It's important to have credit on all 3 reporting agencies because so many different creditors look at these actual or look at different business credit reports. So coming back, and Christine, go ahead.
I was going to say, because we signed up for the $20 monthly plan just to be able to monitor and dispute things if something goes wrong. With our not Equifax, but Experian, it was $75 for the entire year. And with Dun Bradstreet, you don't have to pay for that ridiculous monitoring service. They won't let you do the credit monitoring anymore. They got rid of it. They now want you to pay that insane fee, but you can go to iUpdate. If everything's good, your minimum score is 80. So why pay for a credit service or monitoring when you can just pay for 2 of them, one be yearly, one be monthly, and know exactly what's going on in your report and have the ability to dispute it? It might seem like a little bit going out, but it's money that is well spent to be able to keep track.
And, somebody just mentioned in the comment, what's more important? Is DMB the most important by 50% and then Experian 35%? Guys, the answer is all of them. And I know that's not the answer you want, but here's how it works. Experian is commonly looked at by credit issuers. People that issue credit cards primarily in a lot of cases look at Experian. Equifax is primarily looked at banking and lending institutions. DMB is looked at by a lot of sources, including insurance sources, utility sources as well. What's happened is once DMB started to get into the credit building game, a lot of sources that used to report and use them stopped using them. They felt there was a conflict of interest. So nowadays we see that a lot of credit issuers and lenders primarily look at Equifax and Experian. As of a percentage, it depends on what type of financing you're looking for. If you're looking for bank loans, then you want to focus heavily on Equifax. If you're looking for credit cards, you want to focus heavily on Experian. If you want both, heavily focus on both, but also pull DMB because they're the biggest 800-pound gorilla in the space. So a lot of utility companies, insurance companies still look at DMB as being where they get their data from. So there's a lot of reasons we've talked about here that business credit's awesome. It has no impact on personal credit. All of this credit we talked about with Christine, not one bit of it reports on her personal credit report. Is that right, Christine?
That's correct. There's nothing on my personal credit.
Nothing on her personal credit. It all reports only on her business credit reports. Here's why that's important. 30% of your credit score is made up of utilization on the personal side. So if you got a credit card with a $10,000 limit and you owe anything more than $3,000, you are really damaging your score. And if you talk to FICO credit experts like John Alzheimer, who's one of the most well-known in the consumer credit scoring space, he'll tell you you want to keep utilization below 2% if you can. So if you get a Capital One Spark business credit card that does report on your personal credit and the limit's $1,000 and you have anything more than $300 owed on it, you tank your personal credit scores. Christine could max out all of this credit and have no drop to her FICO score because it doesn't report there. Plus, as she told you, she didn't give her social, so there's no inquiry. So there's no inquiries on her personal credit. There's no reporting on her personal credit, letting her use this credit at will to its max without adversely affecting her personal scores. And as she mentioned, and most importantly, She's obtained this credit without a personal credit check, so personal credit doesn't matter when it comes to approval. There's no personal guarantee. Since she's not providing a social, she's not personally liable for this credit. So if anything ever happened and she ever defaulted, and of course we would never wish that to happen, they're not going to come after her personal assets. It truly separates her business and personal credit. And if you look at Entrepreneur, NASDAQ, Experian, if you look at SBA, any authority in the space, they all say this is exactly why you need to separate business and personal credit, because you don't want to be liable personally for what happens in your business. Business credit building's fast. Christine just told you that. She obtained all the credit I just showed you within a less than 90-day time period once she actually got the formula. Now, in all fairness, she would have had to have gone through a 30 to 60-day process to build initial vendor accounts. She went the wrong way with a couple of other companies, so that took her years to get to that point. But the way I'm going to show you today, it'll take you about 30 to 60 days to get that done, and then you can start to get this kind of credit as Christine did once the foundation was built in 90 days or less. Anybody can see your business credit reports with only your name, your business name, and your address. Anybody can look and see all the information we saw. Now, if you looked at Christine's credit report, we see trade lines, we see her risk scores, we see her individual account limits, we can see when her business opened, her quarterly payment trends. Guys, nobody needs your permission to get this. I freak people out when I'm on podcast because I'll pull the podcast interviewer's credit report while I'm on the podcast, and they're blown away that I could even access this information. It's very simple, easy, and cheap for anybody to access your business credit reports, which is why you need to make sure that they're established. And it gives you greater borrowing ability. Not only can anybody access your business credit reports, but lenders absolutely will look at your business credit report, and it will determine how much money you are lent. It will determine whether you are approved. It will determine whether you are declined. And let me actually pull up an example of this. It will determine how much money you're actually approved for. So here, for example, and we'll look here, if we look at Experian, for example, Experian credit report will right here say how much credit she's being recommended for, right here. This is exactly what credit issuers and lenders will see when they issue you money. So your business credit score itself, which is very high in Christine's case, will determine if she gets approved or denied. It will also determine the amount she gets. You see right here, credit limit recommendation. The reporting agencies all have these. And then it also determines the rates and terms she pays on the credit as well, which is why it's so important. One of the biggest reasons that you should pay attention to business credit is that it's the only kind of financing you can get where you don't need cash flow, you don't need good credit, and you don't need collateral for approval. If you don't have cash flow, credit, or collateral, you typically can't get a loan. All of those are required for big bank loans. With business credit, you don't need to verify or provide any of this, and you can still get approved. And again, it gives you access to loans, credit lines, which means you can fund your business, okay? And you can use your profits to grow. Instead of using your profits to try to refund your business, you can use the capital you're obtaining to fund your business, which is why Christine's business is having such success, and that obviously gives you a competitive advantage as well. So let's talk about the actual steps that Christine has taken. I'm going to show you this two ways. I'm going to show you this on slides. I'm going to show you this in real time in the actual system that Christine is using now to have this kind of success. So I'm going to give it to you in theory, and then I'll show it to you exactly what it really looks like. So the first thing you have to do is set up your business credibly. You need to make sure that when you apply for credit or financing, the credit issuer or lender sees that your business is credible. So you need to have a business name that tries not to have the word finance or credit or arms or pawn shop in it. Those type of things are high risk. So you want to try to stay away from high risk industries. And I've got a webinar on our YouTube channel that dives more into that and lists some of those. You also need to make sure that your business name on all your documents is the same and what's online is the same. You could even use a service like Yext to do that. You've obviously got to set up a business entity. It doesn't matter if you're a corporation, a partnership, an LLC, that doesn't matter. But you should know that if you really want to separate personal and business liability, you want to go with either an LLC or a corporation. Once you've set up the entity, you can go to irs.gov and get your EIN number for free. You never actually need to pay for that. Okay, so you can go to irs.gov to actually get that. And I have a lot of questions, so I'm probably going to wait until the end to answer a lot of these questions because there's so many questions here to go through. You need to make sure you have a legitimate business address. So again, if you have a question, type it into the questions box. I will get to every question that's asked, but I'll do it at the end. Otherwise, we will get nowhere quick. So we'll do that at the end to make sure that all your questions are answered. So you need a legitimate business address. A physical business address. And by the way, I'm going to talk about some bonuses you can get and things as well at the end of the webinar, so it's worth it for you to hang out anyways. Okay, we're going to go through a bunch of cool content. I'm going to talk to you about some bonuses at the end as well, and I'm also going to make sure that every question you have is answered. Although as they come up, you can type it into questions and we'll go through them as they come up. You need to have a real physical business address or a virtual address or a UPS address at least. Never use a home address on a business application. You need a business phone number, a business fax number. Your business phone number should be listed with 411. And for all of those that I'm going pretty quick, we got a lot of content to cover. I will send you a playback to this, so you will be able to re-access all this information and stop and kind of access it as you go. You need to not use ever a home phone or a mobile phone when you apply. You then need to set up your phone number with 411. We use a service called List Yourself. They charge about $30 a month for that, about $360 annually. I want to give you an idea of any kind of cost. As a matter of fact, setting up your entity is different state by state. In Florida, it's about $60. It's different. In a lot of other states, it's much more money than that. Okay, and licensing, any proper licensing you may need in your county and your industry. You need to make sure that your company's listed congruently everywhere online, especially Yahoo, Bing, Google, places for business. If they know about you, they'll list your information. You want to make sure your business name and address and phone number is the same in all of those. If it's not, you can contact the sources directly and have it corrected, or do what we do and use a service called Yext, Y-E-X-T, where Yext updates all of our online listings and makes sure that they're all congruent. There's a cost for that. Depending on the service you want within, the cost varies. You need to have a legitimate business website and a phone number on the actual website. You also need a professional business email address. Okay, so for example, mine is, mine is info@creditsuite.com. So it's congruent with our website. It's professional. It's not a Gmail address. These are all the things you want to look for as you're putting information on an actual application. So once you set up your business credibly, you look legit to the credit issuers. Because let's be honest here, guys. If you come in and put a home address on your application and your mobile phone as your business phone, firstly, all of them will know that. Their computers, like our computers do, tell them instantly red flag home address, red flag mobile phone. You're not going to get a $40,000 approval or $20,000 approval accounts when you're trying to use home addresses and home phone numbers or mobile phones. That's why this is important. If you don't take the credibility step, you're not going to be looked at as legitimate, and it takes a legitimate looking business to get this kind of credit. Now, Christine, what do you think about this? This is like a checklist you probably have already went through well in the past.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing too. I've been told virtual addresses were bad, that you won't be able to get approved to go to a home address. There's a lot of mixed information, and my recommendation is highly, highly, highly go with what Ty says, because he's not going to steer you wrong. Yes, right now we are using a home address. We have gotten funded, but on the flip side of that, we have had a virtual address. So when somebody pulls it, it will show both addresses. So it does show commercial. It's not the best, but if you're just getting started, yes, you can use your home address. Especially on Dun Bradstreet, you have to have a solid address. You cannot have a virtual address on Dun Bradstreet. And this is one of the things Ty has gone over before, and I'll let him go into more depth about that. But you have to go over this checklist. If you miss just one thing is off, you will not be approved. You will get declined right away, and they won't tell you why. You'll have to sit here, scratch your head, and figure it out, going, what happened? So if you make sure this checklist is in order before you apply, you will succeed.
Perfect. Now, I've got a lot of questions in the chat. I'm not going to jump into a lot. Somebody asked, am I going to map out the sources? Yes, we'll map out some sources here to start your initial business credit. Somebody else asked, are these the credits she's obtained completely non-recourse personally? Yes, they are. She's obtaining them without a personal social, therefore without a personal guarantee. Guys, if you provide your social, you're going to be guaranteeing it. If you're not providing your social, you're not going to be. So when she tells you that she's not supplying her social, that means she's not personally guaranteeing this credit. And as Christine said, the tendency is that people want to skip this stuff. They just want to get in and start applying. And then I talked to somebody the other day and they go, man, this doesn't work for me because I went in and getting denied. They're making me obtain and buy stuff from them before I get credit. Well, that's often the case when you're not set up credibly. When you set up yourself credibly, you get past a lot of the road bumps you may experience and you really expedite your success. Which brings us to the next report. How do you get set up with a business credit reporting agency? Well, you want to get your DUNS number with Dun Bradstreet. As Christine mentioned, a lot of sources won't ask for it. Some sources actually will. Now, if you don't know what the DUNS number is, the DUNS number is basically a 9-digit number that identifies your business in the world with D&B. So your EIN number is the employment identification number, is how our IRS recognizes your individual company, the same as it uses your social to recognize you as an individual. The DUNS number is a worldwide number used to identify your business. The United Nations uses this, the Australian government, the United States government, and it's absolutely free. You could type in free DUNS number on Dun & Bradstreet, go right online and obtain it. Now, D&B Credibility will call you and email you, and they will definitely try adamantly to sell you their credit builder program. They gave me a discount and quoted me $1,500, but it's normally like $1,800 or $2,000 is what they actually charge. And they give a pretty good hard sales pitch. A lot of times they'll tell you you have to buy this to get your DUNS number and activate your credit profile. But that's just not true. Christine, did you ever get these calls and did you ever buy anything from D&B Credit Builder?
Yes, unfortunately I did. I got the credit monitoring service and then I upgraded to Credit Builder because we had to mandatorily add a few trade lines because they weren't reporting. And of course Dun & Bradstreet won't let you call in and say, hey, here's these invoices, can we report them? So we had to, and then they start calling and calling. Well, we had somebody pull your credit. No, you didn't, because I would have gotten an alert. And it's kind of fun. I did, but then I started figuring out their game, and I got a little hostile with one of them. I'm the type of person, I want results. Don't buffalo me. I want results. And this lady's telling me, well, we'll red flag your company if you don't go through this program. Try it. I don't care.
Guys,
I can start up another company.
This is the kind of hard-nosed tactics you need to be well aware of. And if you don't think this is legitimate for any reason, do some research on Dun & Bradstreet credibility. I'll tell you what your research will tell you. Every year since their inception, they've had a class action lawsuit filed against them for exactly the reasons that Christine mentioned. They tell people the same pitch. Somebody pulled your business credit report and they basically saw that you were unestablished, which looks like you're going out of business or bankrupt. They use these scare tactics. They tell you you have to buy their services to get the DUNS number. They tell you that they will red flag your credit report. There's a lot of things they'll tell you. Now, Dun & Bradstreet Credibility has been a separate company from D&B. Another private company bought that. It wasn't D&B. D&B has now absorbed them back in, and I've noticed their tactics aren't as hard-nosed, but it's hard for me to figure that out because whenever I'm on the phone with them, they quickly research, they know who I am, they know what I'm talking about, and even though I record these calls and tell them I am, they don't really try these hard-nosed tactics on me because they instantly go, oh, okay, so you know business credit really well. So I've had a hard time getting recordings with them having the same process so many others struggle through because they quickly research and know who I am and know that I have the information otherwise. But I will tell you, as Christine said, that they often will tell you all these tactics to get you to buy their product and service. And Christine, you had it. So was it worth even a fraction of the cost of the money you spent?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I didn't realize that I could have pulled my stuff through iUpdate and submitted it through that system without ever spending a dime.
Yep.
Or I could have called the creditor directly and said, hey, can you please report this to Dun Bradstreet? And 9 times out of 10, they will do so. If they don't report, they will make a concession to do so, or they'll say, hey, I'm sorry, we can't do it. We're not that big of a company to do so.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is open and ask.
Well, and that's it. And, and somebody's asking here, and we'll talk a lot about these questions. I'm getting to some as I go. If you're a home-based business now, how can you get a different address? Just go to a company like Regus, Regus, or I just saw one called iPostal, which I haven't looked into. Yeah. I can't recommend.
I have looked into that. They have a virtual address for $10 a month.
$10 a month, problem solved. You use a virtual address instead of a real physical address. So you give them a business address, you get your mail there, and then iPostal will forward your mail. And again, we're going to jump in and talk about a lot of these other questions because there's literally, I don't know, there's 50 or 100 here that we will go through, and I'll make sure they're all answered. So again, the Credit Builder is not going to let you add a lot of existing accounts or won't let you get new credit. They just help you add some existing accounts. They won't let you add credit cards, banks, leases, utilities. Most of what you're going to have, you can't even add to a D&B credit report. Again, you don't even want to focus only on D&B because the majority of credit issuers and lenders look at Equifax and Experian anyways, and they don't help you at all get new credit. So what I do when I start a new business and I go through this process is Dun & Bradstreet Credibility emails me and calls me and says it's urgent that I call them back. I ignore all calls and emails. And if you ignore them, they never pitch you. They eventually will go away. There's no urgent thing they ever need to talk to you about. If you ever get an urgent call from D&B Credibility, they are just trying to sell you this $2,000 package. And again, here's a list of those kind of accounts that you cannot add, including landlords, virtual offices, credit cards, bank references. This is right from the small print on D&B's website. So next, you want to get a copy of your Experian Commercial Credit Report. Now, you can go to creditsuite.com/consult, CONSULT. And if you go to creditsuite.com/consult, we will pull your Experian report for you and go over it with you. Now, we can't give it to you. Experian won't let us give out any credit reports. We lose our ability to pull them. But we can review it with you and get you a copy of your Credit Safe report, or you can go to Experian directly. It's about $50 a month. You want to fix any inaccuracies on your credit report as well. Now, remember, you might want to grab your Equifax report, but I would at least get D&B and Experian, maybe even Equifax as well. And Experian and Equifax have, through their credit monitoring, if you pay, will let you dispute items online without paying with D&B. As Christine said, you can use D&B's iUpdate service, which I put into the chat, and you can fix inaccuracies with D&B at no cost. And here is a look at some of those actual packages that you will see when you go to their site. So now we've set up your business credibly. You've seen if there's any credit reports out there. You've fixed any inaccuracies. The next thing you have to do is what Christine said took 2 years to do because she used the wrong places, and that is to get starter vendor credit. These are creditors that will give you credit when you have none. Even as a startup, somebody asked me in the comments, can I do this as a startup? What if I haven't even started my business yet? Well, you're still going to have to go through some initial startup cost. Your entity, your EIN doesn't cost anything, but at least get your entity, at least go through and make sure your business is set up credibly. And once you've done that, you can then immediately start getting vendor credit, which we'll talk a little bit more about. This credit reports to the business credit reporting agencies, doesn't require a personal guarantee or a personal credit check for approval. They're not revolving accounts. accounts. They offer like net 30 accounts. So for example, the lady that cleans our office just told us we needed toilet paper in the office. So I went to Quill real quick, I put it in an order to Quill, and I'm good. And then they're delivering it, I think, today to our office. It was super simple, but I got to pay that bill off within 30 days as early as I possibly can to get a good score. Remember, your scores are based on payment history. You'll need to find vendors who do report to the business credit reporting agencies, and we'll talk about some of those right now. Over 97% of trade credit that exists in this country doesn't report to the business credit reporting agencies. Guys, this is why 90% of the population doesn't know anything about business credit, because most credit you obtain in the beginning doesn't report to the business credit reporting agencies. You have to be intentional with building business credit and then specifically go after credit that does report. 5 of these accounts must be reporting before you can move to the level that Christine is with starter credit, and here is some sources. Quill, Seton, Uline, Monopolize Your Marketplace. All of these companies will give you credit when you have no credit already. They report to the business credit reporting agencies. Now, if you're a brand new business and have some stuff that doesn't look credible, Quill and Uline, for example, will often make you buy things 1 or 2 or 3 times before they'll give you a new credit. A lot of times we find people go through and get the new credit right away. As you go, put stuff in your shopping cart and go to checkout, you have an option for them to invoice you later that you're able to select, and that's how that works. You might look at a company like Seton and say, Ty, they sell road signs. I don't need road signs. I don't either, but I buy first aid kits and first aid stuff from Seton because I need it in the office anyways, and I need it in the home office anyways because I have a 5- and 7-year-old, and they're like bumper cars. They run into everything and get hurt and fall down. So you can always use stuff like this. Gimplers is the same way. They sell outdoor stuff. You might not need outdoor stuff, but yet you can still use batteries. Everybody needs batteries. So if you look deep enough, some of these places like Seton might not on the surface have things you want and need, but find some things that you do. My other advice is try to buy $50 worth of stuff or more, because some sources like Quill won't report the item to the business credit reporting agency unless you spend $50. If you want to know how much you spend, contact each source, as Christine said, and just ask the question. They'll often tell you exactly how much you need to spend. So with 5 accounts reported, you then move on to the level that Christine has already passed, where it's just where you get store credit cards. 5 accounts, you go out, you find stuff you want, you put it in the cart, you check out, you select the invoice me option, you pay the bill timely, you have that account report. It takes about 30 to 60 days for those accounts to report. Once you see 5 across your reporting, your business credit reports reporting, then you can move on to store credit. Almost all major retailers offer store credit. Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, Dell, Apple, Staples, Amazon, Best Buy, Radio Shack. I mean, almost all of them offer business credit. But as Christine said, you often need to go through a special link online to apply or contact them. And if you do contact them on the phone, you might have to go through a few people to not give a social but never give them the social. And then you get to the level that Christine's talking about, which is where you're getting commercial accounts. A Sam's Club commercial account you can use anywhere, not just a store account. Fleet credit you could use for multiple different purposes. This is credit you could widely use, not just in stores. And it takes about 10 to 15 trade lines to get here. I just had somebody the other day, which Christine, by the way, is not very nice. She responded to this webinar and said, we were liars. And I'm like, why would you say we're liars? What would we ever do to cause you to say that we're liars? And she said, to get real business credit, you need to have $10 million in revenue or higher. And I'm like, that's laughable that you would call me a liar in public and then support it with such a ridiculously untrue statement. But as I corrected her and said, I said, look, it's not the amount of revenue you have, it's trade lines. It's not the amount of credit you have, it's trade lines. So Christine, are you guys up to 10 to 100 million in revenue?
If I had that kind of money, I wouldn't be on here. I'd be in Hawaii enjoying the day. No, we don't have that.
You wouldn't jump on a webinar with me even in Hawaii?
I probably would, but it would be a delay, like a 5-hour delay. But yeah, I would not need the kind of money that I need to save my business or expand it. And And this is the type of mentality people have, and that brings me to a point. When you go into a bank with a business plan and they tell you, bring in a business plan, we'll look it over. We were literally laughed out of the bank the first time. My husband and I went in to another bank, which we had done business with, sat the business plan down, and it was sound. My husband is the numbers guy. I'm the English professor, as he calls me. We typed it up. Everything was great. And then we looked at him and said, we have a Dun Bradstreet number. That gentleman looked up from his desk, looked at us, and point blank said, how do you know about that? Like, we are not supposed to know about this.
No, and guys, they don't want you to. Sorry, go ahead, Christine.
It is the dirty little secret the banking industry has. They don't want you to know about this. They don't want you to know about the EIN number. They don't want you to have these keys. They want you to struggle. They want you to put your houses and cars and everything on the line. They don't want us to succeed.
Guys, and it's
Why?
true. I mean, you know, with all the loans we've applied for, I've never been into a bank that's told me the exact criteria to get approved. I've nobody had anybody map out business credit. I've seen companies that go in and they apply for $10,000 credit cards in multi-million-dollar businesses and get declined because of business credit, and the lender won't even tell them the reason. They get the letter in the mail that says the reason. So that's why this is the best kept secret, but we're kind of trying to break that open. So cash credit, fleet credit, right after you get store credit, 10 to 100 times limits of what you're used to. As Christine tells you, after 90 days into this process, just got her first $40,000 credit. And that really maps out the kind of success you can have. Here's some actual approvals: 12 grand, 10 grand, 22,000, 15,000. And these are all fleet or commercial type of credit, right? Chase and Citi, and we're looking at Chase again for 10, and here's 8,000 Inc. card, and a $7,000 bank card. Here's a $50,000 Amex card, another $10,000 account from Bank of America, $24,000 from American Express, $50,000 from American Express, a different one. So guys, this is what's possible with business credit. We've looked at Christine, we've seen what she's got, she's told her story. You've looked and seen actual credit reports to validate this. Now you've seen real physical approvals of 24 to 50,000 to even further reiterate how possible this is. So how do you do this? What's the easiest way? How did, Christine go from a world where she struggled, worked with multiple companies, and now she's to a point where she's really having a lot of success? Well, that's really the next thing I want to dive in. So I've kind of given you an overview of the exact solution, the exact way that business credit works, right? We've come a long way. We've talked about what's possible. You've seen approvals and credit reports and listened to Christine's story. How do you go from struggling to figure it out to doing it the right way? Well, I just gave you the steps. And what's great about us is if you want to do this on your own, fantastic. We've got information on our YouTube channel. You can go to creditsuite.com at the top right. We have social media channels. We openly share a lot of information that maps out the steps. I just mapped out the exact steps that Christine took. Now I want to walk this through and show you how it physically looks in her world as she's going through this process, because she uses the system that you're looking at right now called the Business Finance Suite to do this. So let me kind of show you about how this actually works, not just in theory, but how she's actually getting the kind of success that she's talking about and getting right now, and also further detail, give you more vendor credit accounts, more store credit. I'm going to do all that for you right now. So remember, the very first thing that we talked about was we talked about going through and setting up your business credibly. Well, the Finance Suite makes it easy to do because it's customized. Do you have a business name? Yes. You enter your business name and you move on. But if it says no, then we give you the training. We give you the Secretary of State records that you can search. You can click once and pull up a whole list of all the restricted industries so you know the industries to avoid in your name and set up your business the right way. You can even access resources to get our preferred resource, a company to help you actually set up your business the right way. And all types of training that give you not long hour, 2-hour training, 3 minutes, 4-minute training, 50 seconds that walk you through everything you need to know. We walk you through and help you set up your business address, your business entity, your phone number. Remember how I told you it was $360 to get set up with List Yourself? Well, we actually do that right here for you. All you have to do is say, yes, I want to be listed with 411. List the number that you want with 411, and we physically list it for you. And just so you know, we pay List Yourself on our behalf. We pay for it for you. We just have so many in bulk that we buy that we get a discount, so we don't pay the $30 a month. But yes, you'll pay that because we actually pay to do exactly the same thing. But here, it's part of the process. We walk you through, help you get your EIN set up, understand licensing requirements that you actually need. And again, each section has small training. In one click, you can get set up and get your EIN. We find people that even pay for their EIN number because they're dealing with companies that try to play themselves off as the IRS and make themselves look legit. You get past all those pitfalls and save a ton of money in the process by going through. And this is how you're seeing somebody like Christine actually expedite their success. Everything from business licenses to phone numbers. Somebody asked about a business address. Well, what if I don't have a real physical business address? Well, then you click no and learn about exactly what you need to do. You click on resources, and we give you access to resources that will help you get the solution that you need. So what's nice about the Finance Suite is everything you need is in one place. So if you don't have a business address, in one click you can get one. If you don't have an EIN, in one click you can get one. If you're not listed in 411, in one click you can actually get listed. This is how you take years of a business credit building process and you expedite it. The next step, as we talked about, was getting your business credit reports. Right here, you can link with any of the reporting agencies and quickly and easily get your business credit reports with any of the reporting agencies. You say, oh, nope, I want it, learn more. You can even come here and search Experian and see if your actual business is listed. Now, admittingly, this will take about 30 seconds to load because the API with Experian is a little slow. We're working on that. But the benefit here is that you pay Experian $600 a year, conservatively, $50 a month, to access your Experian Smart Business accounts. And right here, using this feature, you can actually come in and do the same thing without paying a dime. So remember, business credit building is all about trade lines. You have to know when you're actually going to have enough trade lines to move the next step, right? You know that you need to have 5 trade lines to move in to get store credit. You need 10 to 15 to start getting cash and fleet credit. Well, right here, Experian, where a lot of this credit reports, you can easily just type in your business information at will whenever you want and see how many trade lines you have without even paying for credit monitoring. So if you want to bypass credit monitoring, you just save $600 because you got what you need here. You don't need 411, which saves you $360. That's about $1,000 that you're saving right here. We walk you through the steps of getting set up with Dun Bradstreet so you don't end up spending the $1,500 to $2,000 to actually get stuck in that process right here. So when you're looking at this, we're saving you $400. You're saving the $600 with Experian, which is $1,000. You're saving the $1,500 or $2,000 from D&B. So all of a sudden, you're literally saving thousands and getting a simple way to go through this process. Now, actually, after you've went through those first 2 steps, then we move right into business credit building, right? We talked about some of these kind of actual or vendor accounts. These are all sources that will give you credit even when you have none. And guys, I can openly show you this, and here's why. You can write them down as fast as you want. It doesn't matter. What does matter is right here, the actual underwriting guidelines for every source. The reason Christine failed in the beginning through multiple companies of building business credit is right here. It's because we actually contact and have relationships with every single one of these sources. We constantly update their underwriting guidelines, meaning we know exactly what it takes for you to get approved. So by coming in and putting them in a step-by-step order and listing the actual underwriting guidelines, who the account actually reports to so you know which report to monitor, giving you description of what they sell, how to apply, even giving you the back link in to apply for their commercial accounts, you literally take years of business credit building and condense it down into just months because it's laid out step by step, everything you need with each source is listed in order. Christine, what do you think? When you started building vendor credit and you used a few other companies and failed, how much easier would this have made things for you?
It would have it would have expedited the process so much more. And it's like my husband and I have both agreed that if we had done this program years ago, we would be in a different situation right now. We would be probably in Hawaii right now, probably have more than one or two trucks on the road, or multiple trucks and trailers and bigger fleets. You know, things would have been a lot different. But instead, we've gone through a personal bankruptcy. I personally have suffered through identity theft, and it has taken its toll on us. You know, yes, we paid off 2 semi-trucks in the worst part of the economy without credit. But on the flip side, if we had had all this in place back then, we probably would never have suffered through the bankruptcy. We would have had more paid off trucks and more paid off trailers, you know, because when we went into the bank, we took in title for not only our personal vehicle, we took in the title for a semi-truck trailer and a semi-truck, total $20,000, asked for $10,000 loan, and were laughed out of the bank because we didn't have this knowledge. We didn't have the keys to success. And people think that what I'm doing is fraud. It's not. Because my brother, he saw my wallet, and he's like, that is a lot of plastic. He goes, how much did you lie to get that? I'm like, I didn't lie. My business stood on its own. He just rolled his eyes and walked off and said, whatever.
Guys, it's possible because when you have the step-by-step system, when you know what banks don't want you to know, when you have the actual underwriting guidelines here for every source, it really creates a foolproof method to be able to go through and do this. So as you go through this step and you build your initial business credit, then we talk to you about monitoring your business credit. We help you get discounts on the business credit reports you obtain. We help you, and again, not all of them, like D&B, a lot of them don't offer discounts. Some of these just link directly to the best way to get your business credit reports. We help you read your business credit reports. We provide training on exactly how to read your credit reports, understand your credit scores. As you saw with Christine, there's a lot of different credit scores. So if you don't know how to read them, then you're not going to know what to do. But right here, we're teaching you how to read and navigate your business credit reports in 2 minutes. So you get all the information you need. And as you can see here, that we're running through round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. We're putting credit in an order that you'll know you get approved. If Christine, the reason that people fail is because they jump to round 3 and round 4 credits start to apply before they're able to come on and qualify. And you can see our system won't let you do that. It's telling us, yes, this source is recommended. And somebody actually just said here, chatting with Seton customer service, and they don't report credit accounts, only delinquent accounts. That's a joke, guys. This is exactly why you need to call and talk to multiple people, because Seton absolutely does report. They report to D&B. But I'll tell you, I talked to Quill the other day and asked him, how much money do I need to put on an account with you for you to report it to the business credit reporting agencies? They told me $100. I called back and said, how much do I need to put? Same question, 2 different people. The second person said $50. The third person said they had no clue. If you call the same company and talk to 3 different people, you'll typically get 3 different answers. Okay, but Seton is one of those companies that absolutely does report. They report to D&B, but you're not going to get approved unless you have an already established Paydex and a DUNS for their revolving account, for example. So this is why you need to know this. Our system won't even let you apply for Amazon or Staples or AutoZone or any of these until you have established credit. But look at these fleet accounts: Budget, Conoco, Exxon, Office Depot. This is all the kind of credit that you can obtain using business credit without a personal guarantee. Christine got 40 grand at Best Buy without a personal credit check. We see, I'm looking at my board here with Amazon, and it looks like $3,500, $12,500 approvals. So this is the kind of credit. Dell's notorious for giving you $10,000 approvals about 60 days into the process. Sears, almost every major gas station, they all offer business credit. And all of this you're looking at can be obtained without a personal guarantee. These are fleet cards and MasterCards without a personal credit check. There's even more MasterCards listed there. Here's some sources that don't report that but will give you credit based on your business credit quality, including PayPal credit and Sprint and T-Mobile, okay, and Apple, and on and on and on. So you can see how much. Christine, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say in there, for those who are thinking about a transportation company, and this is something I recently run into, and Ty, you didn't know about this, or I can't remember if I told you, is some of these fleet cards will use a company called WEX. Now, WEX is a good company, but if you have a company that has the name transportation anywhere in the name, be prepared for daily debits. They will not do net 30. They won't. They have told me, you'll charge it, we'll pull it out of your account the next day. Me personally, that's unacceptable. So if you want to go through these fleet cards and you are a transportation company, please rethink your name, because if you put transportation in there, they will pull it on daily debits. I mean, they're a good company, but that is something for a lot larger company. Something to think about there.
Yeah, and an absolutely invaluable tip. No, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, in top of a business credit, what as Christine's also mentioned, what we're working on with her are actual business loans. Look, getting high limit credit accounts, as we've talked about, is fantastic here. But on top of that, you also need the ability to get business loans. And in the Finance Suite, you get every legitimate financing program available to you, whether it be private equity or venture capital, whether it be real estate, whether it be collateral-based financing like equipment financing, 401k, the unsecured financing program I told you about, where you can get $150,000 and 0% financing, revenue financing, which only looks at your revenue, doesn't care about personal credit at all, and gets you funded in 24 to 72 hours. So we tie in with every legitimate funding program that's out there today in this space as well. So it really gives you the ability to build your business credit step by step, and to be able to get loans, credit lines, all for your business as well, much of which is available without personal credit requirements. Unsecured has it, equipment financing has it, but a lot of other financing like the collateral-based financing, 401k financing, and you know, securities-based financing, AR, PO financing, book of business financing, a lot of this stuff isn't credit score based. A lot of it's based on a strength such as your revenue, such as your credit, or such as your actual collateral. So the Finance Suite gives you access to financing, and it gives you access to business credit building. And if you even did want to, we then actually give you the ability to offer business credit and financing as well. So you can see as you come in right here that we give you step-by-step training on everything you need to actually sell business credit as an actual product or service. So not only are you able, and I'm going to show you how, to get something like this, to take years of business credit building into months, and do it way cheaper than you're going to on your own, because you don't have to pay for all the things you'll have to pay for because they're free as part of this. But you also can even get the ability to offer business credit and financing as a service if you want to. We give you all the training to be able to do so. We even give you access to every resource that you would need, from marketing videos and emails and flyers and ebooks and everything you would need to sell business credit and financing as a service. Now, I'm way past the time I intended, because we've kind of given you so much detail, so I don't have time to go through all that, but I do want to talk to you a little bit more before I answer questions of how you can do exactly what Christine's done, how you could take years of a business credit building process, condense it into months, and actually save the money. Christine, how much did you pay those 3 companies? How much did you pay just trying to figure this out on your own, and with those 3 companies that you could have saved?
Let's say I could have paid for your company twice, for your program twice.
So that means you easily paid, you know, $6,000, $7,000 she spent trying to do this on her own and working with other companies. I'm going to show you how to get access to the actual system that's proven to be successful, that's helped her get to success with paying literally a fraction of any of that. And the reason for that is because, look, you're watching this webinar on a computer, phone, tablet, because you obviously want the fastest and easiest way to get money to grow, right? And you probably already struggled, like Christine had, to get the money you need, to get the credit you need, to find a legitimate, proven method that actually can help you get a simple solution to be able to get financing and credit. And as what you've seen there, it just might be that this finance suite is a perfect solution for you because you get all this credit we talked about for your EIN, not linked to your social, with the top-selling business credit building system. This is the most popular out there. We've had over 10,000 people we've helped to build business credit with the finance suite. So obviously we tend to know some things about it. You get access to funding for your business as well as the business credit, and you get that cutting-edge technology, the custom experience. So if you go through and say, look, I have a business address, well, then you don't need to be forced to watch a bunch of training on getting a business address. So it expedites your results, and you saw how clean cut the technology is. It's fast, it's simple, it's step by step, it's mobile friendly, which makes it easy for you to even use on your iPad, on your iPhone, mobile device of any kind. Now, you get access to that free DUNS number and setup that they'll typically charge you $2,000 for as part of it. You get access to Experian Smart Business access, so you don't need to get credit monitoring if you don't want to, which saves you $600. You get access to 411 listing, which costs about $360, all as part of the finance suite. So that alone is about over $3,000 that you're going to save. And as you saw, you're getting the largest supply of starter vendors, as well as even revolving sources to be able to build business credit. And you're getting the underwriting guidelines with all of them. Remember, I can openly show you the sources. I don't care, because it's the underwriting guidelines that determine your success. If you don't know the right order of credit to apply, or you don't know what the requirements are for each individual source, you're often going to apply and get denied. And Christine, did you have that happen a lot in the beginning where you were applying not knowing what the approval requirements were and started getting denied?
Well, actually, when we first started, the companies were doing that for us, so I had no idea. This was all foreign to me when I took over, so I was like, what am I supposed to do? So that's what kind of put me at a disadvantage, because I was told, just submit something and you'll be fine. I'm putting my social security number, everything out there when I first started. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting declined. So I need to stop this. And that's when I started figuring out that, hey, what happens if I leave this off? And then I started getting approved for smaller and smaller things. So it was a learning curve when I was doing this myself.
Yeah, sure, and that's what's nice about our system is it lays it all out where you're getting the knowledge as you go. So when you start to get to the level that Christine is, it's much easier to get the $15,000, $20,000, $40,000 approvals and move up to where she is now with fleet credit, which you saw was available there. None of this requires a personal credit check or guarantee to get approved. You also get the financing we talked about, which has cash flow financing options with score as low as 500. We now can even go even lower. You get collateral-based financing if you want to get some kind of asset or already have assets, which give you rates of 2% or lower. You even get unsecured financing, which we talked about earlier, where you can get up to $150,000 at 0% if you do have good personal credit. Now, all loans, including these, are based on some kind of lendable strength. If you don't have a lendable strength, we'll help you build your business credit so you do, which makes it easier to get loans. And that's exactly what makes this so successful for you. Private money sources, alternative SBA, venture capital. Look, our belief is that you should be able to get all kinds of business financing in one place. But do you know that we're the only place that does that? It seems crazy to me that other sources only offer one or two kinds of loan. We're offering every kind of financing available in one place, as well as getting access to the business credit, 10-year term loans, $250,000 credit lines. It's all in the actual Finance My Business. But plus, as a licensed partner, if you do want to do that, then you also get the ability to sell business credit, offer it for your customers, and get paid. You can earn thousands of dollars just by offering business credit financing. And it's not a big upgrade if you want to do that. You also get, and we didn't go through a lot of it, the marketing resources and everything you need to sell business credit and financing as a service as well. So, and I'm going to tell you a couple other things here too, and I think one of them I might mention as a bonus. Don't think that you are on your own here, okay? As you're going to see as part of this webinar, as part of our bonuses, you're getting helped every step of the way. You don't just get a system that you log into and go through this step by step. We're going to get you access to our business advisors for 12 months. They'll spend 30 minutes, 60 minutes on your initial phone call with you, help you through every aspect of this process. You get access to our finance officers, which develop finance blueprints and map out all aspects of getting business loans as well. Okay, so don't think that you're doing this on your own, because you're not. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get into bonuses. So if you do want to get started today, if you say, look, because there's two ways you can go here. You can say, look, I'm in the beginning stages, man. I don't really have any money set aside to even build the business. And if that's the case, no problem. Then go to our website, creditsuite.com, subscribe on our social media channels, top right. We give you a ton of free resources that'll help you through the process. Yes, it will take a little longer. Yes, it will cost a little bit more, but you can do it at your leisure. But let's say you want to expedite this. Let's say you want to get on the path that Christine's on to get that kind of credit as quickly as she is. Well, if you're getting started today as part of this, then what we're going to do is offer you a huge discount actually on what we call our core program. Okay, and this is our top program we offer. If you look at our websites now, over $5,000. Okay, it's actually over $6,000 now. But you can get started with just 6 payments of $497. And actually, I have that a little bit different than I think it should be. I think our actually the website lays that all out for you. And you can also do this by doing one payment and getting a huge discount of $19.97. Okay, so if you go, you'll see that it's $19.97 one payment. You can also break it down into payments, and even with your first payment, you get access to everything. Now, guys, that's about $1,000 cheaper than if you try to do this on your own, because you don't need the Experian Smart Business, you don't need the 411 listing, and I've got a bunch of bonuses which I'm going to give you to have a tremendous value, and we do all those things that's included, so you can get away from the Experian Smart Business cost, the 411 cost, the DMB cost. You don't need to pay those because of what we give you as part of the actual finance suite, which makes this about a third cheaper than you trying to do it on your own. And if you're trying to do it on your own and work with all these other different companies, as Christine said, she spent $6,000-$7,000 through the learning curve to be able to find the same formula here that you're able to get for a fraction of that. Okay, so you're saving big. It's only valid if you're part of this webinar. I'm going to give you through Friday to actually grab this special and to take advantage of this. And prices did increase January of this year as well. Now, I don't want you to have any risk. So what we're doing is we're giving you access to everything. If you pay monthly installments, everything I showed you, full access to the Finance Suite, advisor, finance team, all of it you get, even with your first payment. So that gives you a lot to gain and not much to lose, right? I mean, you don't have much to lose. If we're giving you $4,000 worth of content and you don't have to actually pay for it, but only pay your first payment, then that shifts the risk to us. Now, keep in mind, this does not include our partner program. This includes the business credit builder and the financing, so you can get financing and business credit. If you want to also offer business credit financing as a service, we're going to do that with a small upgrade, and I can talk to you more about that in just a second. So again, we're that sure that you're going to love this, that we shift the risk to us and give you everything, even with your first monthly payment. And all you need to do is go to creditsuite.com/webinar special. And on creditsuite.com/webinar special, everything you need to actually jump in and to get started is right there. And again, you get access to everything immediately once you enroll. We send you an email with login information to access your finance suite. You enter your actual password that you want to set, and once you've done that, you immediately get access. So if you're finishing this, for example, now, and I already see from what I'm seeing that people are already in the process of enrolling, then again, it's pretty cool because you get access to everything right away. As a matter of fact, I even misspoke a little on the price because it's not $19.97, it's only $18.97, so it's even $100 cheaper than I initially said. And again, there's a couple bonuses here that I want to throw in as well, just to make sure that this is well worth your while. If you do want to offer business credit financing as a service, great. I'm going to give you a ready-to-publish book, one of my best-selling books on Amazon, in your name, so you could be a published author. Okay, we're going to give you a VIP program for free, so you can test our partner program for 30 days to see if you like it, and then if you like it, you can keep it, and if you don't have to. Okay, and I'm going to give you, for the first 10 that enroll, a 30-minute coaching session with me. Look, we're not going to talk about business credit, I'll be honest, because I've got advisors that will spend that time with you as part of your normal package anyways. I'd like to talk to you about business strategy. The easiest way to scale your business and make it into a multi-million-dollar business. So that's the best use of your and I's time. And for the first 10 people that come in, I only have limited time, obviously, that I'm going to spend 30 minutes. By the way, I don't want to set the wrong expectation, but my coaching sessions typically go well above 30 minutes, sometimes an hour or more. But we're going to make sure you have a path mapped out for success for your business. Okay, and if you don't think I'm qualified, well, I've got some experience. I built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, sold and had a successful exit on my last one, and Credit Suite, we're not doing too bad over here right now. And we're also going to give you a guaranteed. If you get started and feel that what you got isn't worth every penny of what you paid, that you have or will not be able to make many times with it with our partner program as what you spent, then you can cancel anytime within 30 days, 100% of the money back. So you can enroll with payments, only make your first payment and get access to everything. Okay, we're giving you a money back guarantee. If for any reason you don't like it within 30 days, we give you the money back. Okay, so it really shifts all of the actual risks to us, where you've really got nothing to lose by getting started. And if you don't think that and you're still skeptical, guys, go to our website, creditsuite.com, and click on credibility. You'll see we're A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. We've got a 5-star Trustpilot rating with over 100 legitimate real reviews right there for you to see. You'll see we have tons of actual business credit approvals, funding case studies on there. You can see all of our media and press exposure, where a lot of the top authorities in business credit, business lending, Forbes Entrepreneur, where we're listed and mentioned in all these type of sources. So if for any reason you have any doubts about credibility, go to creditsuite.com/credibility. Once you overcome that, then understand the entire risk is shift to us. Unless you really want to save money, then you just come in on the one pay. Because if you pay the 6 payments of $497, you're going to pay about $1,000 more. But if you do the $1,997 one pay, you get about a 30% discount, which is absolutely awesome in itself. And again, that site is creditsuite.com/webinar special. So to recap, before we jump into questions, you get your own finance suite, 24/7 access, mobile friendly. Okay, you're getting discounted business credit reports if you're getting actual business credit reports. Remember, Experian Smart Business is part of it. Free DUNS number. Remember, you don't need us to get your free DUNS number. We're just going to map out the actual steps so you end up not spending thousands with D&B, and you're not going to need their credit builder because we're going to help you get real access to real credit that you're able to use to build your business credit along the way. Free Experian Smart Business access, the largest supply of starter vendor credit accounts anywhere, which helps you build your initial business credit profile and score. Massive selection of revolving credit, hard to get fleet credit cards as well, access to cash flow, asset-based, unsecured and private money sources, your own ready-to-publish book, 30-day trial of that VIP partner program, and a 30-minute coaching call for the first 10 and enroll with me. I'm already seeing enrollments come in, so probably before we're done with the Q&A, just so you know, we'll surpass that 10. But even if you have to try to figure out how to make this work, and we'll work with you on that too, as I'll tell you in a second, then you have through Friday to take advantage of the special pricing. I can only dedicate so much time to the coaching sessions, so the first 10 that enroll, which will probably take place before we finish here, those will be the ones that will actually get that extra coaching. And you're getting that guarantee. If you're not happy basically for any reason, we'll give you back 100% of the money that you earn. Guys, this is why we don't have any legitimate complaints anywhere. We've never had a BBB complaint in the lifetime of our company, never had a Secretary of State complaint, never had a client complain anywhere online about us whatsoever. We had some crazy dude on Ripoff Report file a complaint once because he wanted our services for free in exchange for his testimonial. We told him no. He threatened to do all kinds of bad things. And that's okay. We don't respond to bullies. We're not afraid of that. But we've never had a client and over 10,000 customers complain. Why? Because we're great at what we do. It's the coaching that makes this successful. You see real people have real success like Christine has. But most importantly, guys, if you don't want to be here, then we let you out. We give you your money back. We don't want you here if you're not going to be here. Knowledge is power somewhat. We're going to give you all the knowledge and information you need to be successful. What makes Christine successful, though, isn't the information. It's that she's taken action on the information to get success. And when you combine everything we're giving you and the willingness to take actual action like Christine has, well, then you've already seen firsthand multitude of different examples on what that actually equates to, what's actually possible, okay? So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and answer any questions that you may have, okay? So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. Christine, what do you have to say? You have anything else to say as we get ready to wrap up here?
Yeah, actually, I was going to add something to that because as we were talking, you know that I have another business, my upscale staples business. See, here's the kicker with that one. That one is still a sole proprietor. I have my EIN number. I have my DUNS number. So my husband was kind of challenging me, kind of text messaging me through the whole thing. And here's the thing. If people want to see real proof, I have a company right here that I need to get business credit, and I want to show people from the beginning to get build up in 60 to 90 days. If they want to see real proof instead of an already established, I can show you from beginning to end as well.
So you're saying all the results we've looked at is one of your businesses. You've done the exact same steps now with multiple businesses and had the same success.
Actually, just this one. I'm saying that I can show you I can have the exact same results with my second company.
Oh, with the second one. Okay, when you're starting. Well,
yeah.
Look, guys, and it makes sense. This isn't some mystery. Building business credit is a formula. What we've done, and I always tell people this, we didn't invent business credit. We just mastered the formula to do it and put it together in a way that it makes sense and people get results, okay? And we have a lot of clients that have a lot of different success. Christina is on here because her and I built a pretty cool bond because she's been so open to share with us on Periscope and Facebook Live. But if you follow the formula, you will get success. But remember, if you think you're just going to buy this and money's going to fall from the sky, that ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. You have to take action. We will map out the exact steps. Our advisor will call you 5 times in the first 5 days. We'll spend 30, 60 minutes with you on a phone call, helping you every step of the way. But if you really want to do this the way that makes sense and the right way, you need to go through the step with our help. Because as Christine said, trying to think you're going to pay people to do it for you is a failure waiting to happen. Nobody succeeds that way because you get out of it, you might have some initial credit built and you don't know what to do next. Christine now has the knowledge to know what to do, so now she's able to take from where she left to go to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 approvals because of that. We've been through 10,000 people we've helped build business credit. So along the way, we've really figured out this formula, perfected it, got so much feedback from customers, and really mastered this process to help make it as simple and fast for you as possible. So Christine, let's jump into Q&A. I know we're going to have a lot of questions for each other, or for both of us here. So Gregory started off by saying, it's completely legitimate and works excellent. Appreciate that. And will there be a replay? Yes, everybody that's here through the actual webinar will get a replay. Are you going to supply us with a list of places we can go to apply for vendor credit? Yes, we already did that. An impressive list. Good job. And that was with Christine. Christine's list. Did she get any Visa, MasterCards without giving social? We already talked to you about that in the webinar too. We talked to you about commercial credit. We talked to you about fleet credit. Are there companies that are better to establish? I have a finance company and a real estate company. Which should establish my credit lines? Both finance and real estate. Well, real estate's considered to be finance, so both of them are considered to be high risk. When you get business loans, you'll still be successful with business credit. Business loans might be a little bit more of a struggle, and if you have the word real estate or if you have those type of things in your actual business name, it could be tough. Some sources may decline you. You want to try to keep your business name as general as possible. That is my best success there too. Is there, okay, out of one, okay, we went through and answered that question already. Somebody said NAV offers DMB, Experian, and Equifax for like 30 bucks. Yes, they do, but they do not offer you your full business credit reports, just easy snapshots. It's important to know that. Much more affordable than D&B monthly. Yes, absolutely. D&B is very expensive, and again, they are only D&B, which is the problem with their credit builder. Can you email me a copy of the webinar? Charlton, no, because we have too many people that requested. I can't. Well, yeah, actually, I will email you a copy of the webinar. I'm sorry. Not right now, but probably as soon as tomorrow, about the same time, I will get you a replay out so you can actually have that. How many accounts can you apply for at a time without causing problems? Well, as Christine said, she applied for a lot and didn't necessarily run into any issues. Business credit doesn't have inquiry restrictions like consumer credit does, but you just want to be careful. I personally wouldn't apply for more than 5 or 10 accounts, or you possibly could start getting red flag that might actually get you some issues.
Well,
LLC or S Corp,
let me clarify. Let me clarify on this question here, because some of the creditors, and this is what I ran into, which was a happy coincidence, is some of these creditors were Citibank, which they only pulled the report twice. I only had, out of that entire time, in November, 2 credit hits on my report, and 1 last month. So if you are applying through card companies, look in the fine print, see who it is, and it will tell you how many credit hits you're going to have. If you're applying for some of these fleet cards like Sunoco, Exxon, my Shell cards, those are all through Citibank. That was all 1 credit hit, even though it was multiple cards. So if you read the fine print before you submit and you see who it is, it will tell you how many credit hits, especially if it's going through the same company. So I hope that helps clarify.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes down to the underwriter. Now, everybody, go ahead. I've got about 12 minutes. I'm going to get to as many of these questions as I can. I have a hard stop at 3 because I have another webinar starting, so I'm going to try to move through as quickly as possible. Josh asked, do they ask for income verification with the cards? No, they don't on any business credit card. Joe says, hey, look, man, I want Visa cards and MasterCards. A Sunoco has no value to me. Joe, I get that, and that's the problem why most people fail building business credit. If you want a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 cash credit card for your business based only on your business credit, you're not going to get it if you have no business credit. As we talked about in the webinar, you need to have about 10 to 15 accounts established to even get to cash credit and fleet credit. Can you get there? Yes, but vendor credit first, store credit second, then that gets you to fleet credit, which gets you to cash credit. That's about a 120-day plus process, but it's all based on how many trade lines you have. The Sunoco, the Costco, the Walmart, the Apple. I have personally a hard time believing that Amazon can't help you or sells anything that can help your business, or Office Depot. That's kind of hard to believe that you couldn't benefit from any of that kind of credit, but you've still got to have that kind of credit before you get to cash credit. Nobody's going to give you cash credit without it. What is the link to pull my Equifax? You can go to creditsuite.com/reports and pull all of your business credit reports, or go to the reporting agencies to get them. You can also go to creditsuite.com/console, and we'll spend some time with you and get your Experian and credit safe. I hear from possible creditors that since we've not been open for 2 years, that's a myth, Jonathan. You don't need to be open 2 years. Even startups can do it, and it's because credit issuers won't restrict you based on time in business. Their restriction is based on trade lines. Some sources are exceptions. American Express wants you to be in business 3 years. Home Depot does too, but it's very rare. Most of them don't have time frame restrictions. It's trade lines that are the restrictions. How do you get around this? Okay, if you have a credit repair business, you don't get around it. You go right through it. Business credit, you're going to get approved. In a lot of cases, if you're in a restricted industry, credit repair is restricted industry, is considered to be financial services. That means you're going to have a hard time getting a loan, but just so you know, we can still help you get a loan. We've helped a lot of credit repair companies physically get business loans because we do so much business and we work with so many credit repair companies and their partners that we've helped them get approved. But the easy answer is try to keep credit, repair, financial, those type of things out of your business name. It always helps you get approved for more money. We can still help you with the business loans. Business credits, even in credit repair, you should still be able to get approved. If you have a home business now, we talked about that one already. I live in New Jersey. A friend has an office in Pennsylvania. You can use that address, but your DUNS number is based on physical address your business is. So you got to be really careful using somebody else's business address. I would do what Christine recommended and use iPostal for $10 a month. It's a much easier and more efficient way to do it. Can your business name be based your DBA name instead of legal name? No. When you apply for business credit, they need to find exactly the same name that they're going to find on the Secretary of State records. It's usually your business name followed by your DPA. Opus is good for virtual addresses. Somebody said $99 monthly. You get phone, fax, address answering service. What happens if your virtual address is different than your address on your corporation papers? Then I would change it. You want to try to make sure everything is uniform. You can easily get with your Secretary of State to do that kind of change. Can my company pay Regis and Ring Central in advance opposed to paying them up front? I don't know. I've never asked that question. You'd have to ask them. I'm afraid doing things too good. I filed for a corp on December 20th. Did all you told me, Uline Quill, I filed for a corporation on December 20th. Did all you told me. I got Uline Quill Seaton. No and miscellaneous in to date. So far somebody here is saying they had the same kind of success. They got the initial Uline Quill Seaton and they just opened their business December 20th and have already went through and got business credit. So congratulations, Pedro. That's great for you, man. I appreciate that. How can I add business trade lines to an existing business with less trade lines? You can pay for them, but it's a complete ripoff. If the credit bureaus know that you buy trade lines, they'll red flag and shut down your report, just so you know that. I highly recommend against it. You can go to my YouTube channel and type in trade lines and you'll pull up a full webinar on that. Can I build credit with a sole member LLC that doesn't file tax returns? Yes, you can. Business credit won't ask for tax returns, but you need to consider filing them if you ever want to get a real business loan. Business tip, Apple looks at only Experian and IntelliScore. That's a great tip, Gregory, and I appreciate all your comments. Pretty easy to qualify for. How do you know what your bank rating is, James? You'll never know. The bank rating is a scale of low 4 to high 5. It's primarily based on how much money you have in your bank account. If you go to our YouTube channel and type in bank or bank rating, we break it down for you, but you'll never know. Banks will never disclose what your actual bank rating is. Amex and Bank of America will extend business credit card with no PG. Yeah, Josh, yes, they will. Amex usually has longer time and business requirements. Can DMB limit or restrict to virtual? And we already just went through that. Dell uses WEX also. How many business entities can a subject to your program at once? All of them. You can have as many as possible. We have people that use 5 or 10 different entities and build business credit through our actual finance suite. Once you follow the steps for one business, you can follow it for all. Just keep in mind there's cost involved because you're going to have to spend $10 or $50 at Quill on each purchase. So just keep that in mind. But there's no restriction. I'm looking to buy a new car. Can I purchase a company car into this process? You can, Benjamin. It takes some time. To qualify for business leases with no personal guarantee will definitely take 10 or 15 trade lines, but a lot of people use their business credit to help them purchase real estate, auto vehicles, as well as qualify for loans and build business credit. Can we sell business credit without doing the other steps? Yes, you can, Christine. You'll get access to your business credit builder. If you want to go through it and the financing section, you can also sell it as well without going through it. You're not forced to go through it. It's available if you want to. Just wanted to say thank you, Ty, for helping us. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Christine, was that you or is there another Farrell in here? Looks like there might be another Farrell.
That was his husband. That Brian's on here too. He's
Brian's on here too. That's cool. That's cool. Brian, yeah. Welcome. You finally let him in on our little secret here. That's awesome.
No, he's known about it the whole time.
Robert's asking if you make a single payment, do you get the 30-day money back to her? Absolutely, Robert. If you pay monthly payments or a single payment, we absolutely offer you a guarantee. Like I said, if this won't work for you, then we don't want you to be a part of the program. I mean, the bottom line is we have such great success because we attract people that are willing to take action, and if you take action on what we teach, you'll have a lot of success. If you get into it and realize you're kind of lazier than you thought or whatever it may be and you don't want to take that action, it won't work for you. So whatever the case may be, the guarantee applies, whether it be single payments or monthly payments. And how many trade lines do I need to get approved for a visa? I already answered that, about 10 to 15. get good financing, but I want to make sure I have the right name. 2BM Investments. Yeah, that works good, Benjamin. You could do that. I think that that makes sense. That's not going to probably put you in a high-risk category with that name. Can D be limited or restricted registering virtual addresses? Already answer that question. And I'm about to buy a new car. Should I wait to establish business credit? I wouldn't, Benjamin. I would go ahead and get your car, but the next car, you'll probably have enough time to build business credit to possibly get a lease without the PG. Thanks for everything, Ty and Christine. Thank you very much, Rosa, for coming. Am I understanding correctly that a business should not be a sole prop? Lori, you could be any entity, but if you're a sole proprietorship or partnership, you are the business, so you'll always be personally liable for what happens in that business. You talked about business name, match on all papers. What if your actual business name is too long or difficult and you want to use an easy name for your website? Well, that's called a DBA. You could do that, but the problem is one of the number one reasons people get denied for business credit and financing is because the companies try to find your company online and they can't find it because the business name you have on your website is different than what you put on the application. What you put on the application needs to match everything. I hate to say it, but if your name's too complicated, you might want to consider a change there because if they can't find you online, you're not going to get approved. How many different banks are lending cash credit? No PGS. Josh, it's impossible to say, man. There's so many big banks, regional banks, credit unions that do. It's impossible number to throw out there. I do have Sunoco, Amazon, and 13 of those, but I do not know of any cash credit cards that are available. Well, there's a lot of commercial credit cards, etc. But Josh, do all those report on your business credit report? Go ahead and answer that question so I can provide more because it doesn't matter. All these accounts you said might be great, but, oh wait, that's Joe. But if they're not reported on the business credit report, it won't matter. How many trade lines are reported is what matters. Will having good business credit make getting a commercial mortgage easier? Yes, it absolutely will. Can you help with a commercial mortgage? Yes, we absolutely can. We have multiple sources that can help you. Can you have multiple businesses and establish business credit? Yes, we do. The same for each. Yes, you can. She said DNB won't take virtual address. That is correct, John. DNB will not accept the virtual address. Use any address with DNB when you get set up. It doesn't matter what you use with them, but you're right, they won't accept the virtual address. When will the replay be available? We'll probably send it out about 1 o'clock tomorrow at the latest. Can I use one address for 2 different businesses? No, you can't because, well, you can do anything you want, but business credit profiles are established based on your business name and address. So if you did that, you're going to have problems for sure. Thank you, Tanisha, for coming. I appreciate it. Do you also have a source for maximizing my personal credit? Sean, we sure do. Just email us. You see our email info right here, info@creditsuite.com. We don't do personal credit repair, but we work with a lot of awesome personal credit repair companies that can help you. Just go ahead and email us. Let us know you're looking and we'll get you connected. Is InvestNet an okay business name? Yeah, Jordan, that shouldn't put you on a restricted list. Amex's application online requires a social security number. Is there another application? Josh, a lot of online applications require a social. As Christine said, the workaround is to fax them an application or to call them. Those will get you success where you don't need to do that. Thanks for your help, Josh. So I'm going to wrap this up right in time. I have another webinar literally starting at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to wrap this up. Look, I want to thank everybody for coming today. This is the longest webinar I've ever done. I never went 2 hours, and we have a lot of people, hundreds plus, that has stuck with us the whole time. So my goal is that you walked away with a wealth of information and knowledge. You know what's possible. You know the benefits. You know the steps to build business credit. Hey, if you want to work with us and expedite the steps, great. We'd love to work with you. We try to make it as risk-free as possible for you to do so, and we'd love to work with you. But even if you don't have the funds, well, if you don't have the funds, we'll work with you on payments as well. So if $497 is too rich for your blood, no problem. Just go get in touch with us, 877-600-2487 or info@creditsuite.com. You can talk to one of our team. Keep in mind, after these webinars are released, we're immediately flooded with inquiries, so be patient with us, and we'll work with you on more affordable payments. We often do that with our clients. So if the $497 doesn't work with you, let us know what will, and we will work with you. If you're upfront and honest with us, we'll tell you what we can do. We'll make it work. And again, if you just don't have any funds, no big deal. Then keep this webinar. Come back to it at a later time when the time is right. Go to creditsuite.com, top right, access our free information where we'll help you along the way. It'll cost you a little more to do it on your own, yes. It'll take you a longer period of time, yes, but you still can get to a good result. But if you want to expedite it, then this webinar at the end, we just really went through the path to expedite. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks everybody very much for attending. Christine, man, you took 2 hours of time with me today, and I didn't think it would take that long.
All right.
Thank you enough.
Oh, that's okay. That's quite all right. It was a nice, peaceful, quiet afternoon. So at least this one went through. Third time's a charm.
Well, Christine, thanks for coming. Make sure, as I say, say goodbye. Make sure you say goodbye to everybody.
All right, you guys, if you have any questions, info@creditsuite.com, and they are very helpful. So please, any questions, direct them to Ty's company. They are extremely helpful. So hope this has helped.
Guys, I hope this helps all of you. God bless you all. Somebody just said God bless. Go to webinar. Josh, that's funny. Yeah, tell me about it. It's nice to actually be able to really do this webinar. Okay, so listen, I really appreciate all of you taking the time to attend. I hope you got a lot of good, actionable information. And now you have a path forward. If you want to expedite, we'd love to work with you. Again, even if you don't, I've given you information on to get more free resources. So thank you all very much. We'll try to get the playback to you. Hopefully this thing recorded as it should, no later than tomorrow about 1 o'clock, and a very, very special to Christine. Again, thank you very much, everybody, for taking the time to attend with us today, the couple hours, and thank you very much for Christine for joining us. I can't tell you how much it means for you carving this time out of your day. So go ahead and end this and wrap this up, everybody. Thank you all very, very much. I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks again, everybody. Look forward to talking with you. Look forward to working with you. Don't forget creditsuite.com/webinar special, 877-600-2487, info@creditsuite.com. Thanks, everybody.